Hello everyone, my name is Benjamin de Bucher and I'm the head of events program for JEC Group. Thank you for joining us today. Today's webinar is transformation of performance composites into mass production. The automotive industry and other manufacturers always look for new ways to produce thermoplastic composite components to increase strength, decrease weight, and reduce production costs. Today, we are talking about a completely new composite material that responds to these needs. This new material is called Progano. It's a lightweight composite, highly developed through the combination of continuous glass fibers and polypropylene. It's lighter, stronger, faster, and more sustainable. This new composite has been created by Profor. So who are Profor? Profor is a German company and a global leader in cast film and sheet, opening up a world of opportunities for product manufacturers. We will be hearing from Oliver Russler, Senior Product Manager at Profor. Oliver is a mechanical engineer in synthetic materials with more than 25 years of experience in synthetic material processing, fiber and cast film production, as well as product management and sales globally. We will be also talking to Lars Wilkening, Key Account Manager, Lightweight Composites at Profor. Lars is also a mechanical engineer with more than 25 years of experience in sales and project management within various positions in the automotive industry. And last but not least, Udo Steinauer, Director of Business Development and Marketing. Udo is a chemical engineer with more than 25 years of experience in global product management, business development, and technical marketing in the chemical and polymer industry. Unfortunately, Udo is sick and cannot join the webinar this morning, so we'll be only with Lars and Oliver, and we wish Udo a quick recovery. So, are you ready to get insights about Progano, its industrial scale production, and examples of its application? This will be presented to you in the next 60 minutes. Quick reminder for our audience today. As usual, we will be taking questions at the end of the webinar, so you can start to ask your question in the question tab here on the right of the screen, and I will be reminding you again during the webinar. You have also the possibility to upvote the questions from other participants. To maximize your experience of the webinar, I recommend to be connected through cable wire rather than Wi-Fi. And in any case, the webinar is being recorded, so you will be able to view the entire program online later on gecomposites.tv. So let me first open the floor to Oliver Russler, Senior Product Manager at Profor. Oliver, welcome on stage. Could you please give the audience an introduction on Profor and its product?
Thank you, Benjamin. I'm proud and very happy to be here today, and thank you for your introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, and hello to everybody out there. Ladies and gentlemen, what I would like to introduce you to today is the transformation of performance composite into mass production. Profor was asked about 3 or 4 years ago to combine the knowledge of cast film efficient continuous production of a synthetic thermoplastic and combine that with a glass fiber. And this is what we've been starting to do and complete it. But first, let me give you some background of what Profor is all about and where we are coming from. Since 1980, we've worked well and continuously with polypropylene. We believe this to be a very good, economical, and technically feasible thermoplastic to produce a lot of things. And a lot of things, we've started with the mass market of stationary products. We substituted paper and PVC product in the early 80s and gave the world a polypropylene product that is more efficient and more economically feasible for the mass production. We started in Halfing in Bavaria, 1980. We soon moved into the US. We got into another site in Germany, in Greiz, which is now our biggest site, and I will come to that later again. We moved into Asia, and we have one more site in Germany and another one in the Czech Republic. All of these are extrusion facilities with now 26 production lines and a capacity of almost 100,000 tons of polypropylene cast film. This is our heritage, and this is what we built upon to get into the markets and the products I'll show you now. First of all, the biggest segment, our films, and this is our historical main product, films in all varieties and production sizes, dimensions, and volumes for all needs. Progano is the glass fiber thermoplastic we would like to talk to you about today, and which we would like to introduce you more in detail through this webinar. First of all, the CPP film markets, like I already mentioned, it started with the stationery. It grew into packaging, and in packaging, we even won the Sustainability Award in 2020. We're a leading manufacturer for furniture films and floorings, products in automotive, electronics, graphics, and building and constructions round up our portfolio. The markets for Progano are likewise in the lightweight for automotive products, for caravans, building and construction, solar industry, trucks and trucking boards, sports, and of course the e-mobility are pillars of and markets we would like to continue to produce glass fiber polypropylene to. What is needed in all those markets is a great efficiency for an economical start and for a product that is quality-wise on a highest standard and continue to be sold on the highest quality standards all about. I will now hand over to Lars Wilkening, who will give you the first part of our three-stage process to build a Progano board, and we're going to start with the udtape. Lars?
Okay, thank you very much, Oliver. So, what is Progano about? Progano is, as Oliver told you, and like Flying Elliot is showing, it's a lightweight composite. So the markets we have here is what we saw before. Also, of course, the automotive market with cars and trucks and caravans, of course. The e-mobility is one important thing, but even the building and construction area is an important market for our Progano boards, even as sports adventures and the solar industry. So our product, what we have is our udtape. We call it Proud 0 degrees and Proud 90 degrees. And out of these two products, of these two udtapes, we are able to produce an organo sheet. We call it Progano. So these are our products. And your products, well, this is up to you, what you want and have to do with our products. In general, Progano is a lightweight composite. I know, I'm sure you know already what is an organo sheet about. It's lighter, stronger, faster. I know what that you already know this, that you can earn some weight, and even it's stronger if you use it in the right positions in a part. And one important thing is for the injection molding, it's really faster. You earn some time or a certain time in the injection molding, which is very important. At least it spends you the money. But one important thing is the sustainable part of it. So the recycling, which is very, very good for our material. So we can recycle it in every way. So let me show you and present you our continuous production of the UD tape. So we are starting with our glass rowings. We have these 3 steps in our production. So we start with the glass rowings as a first step. In the second step, we have the impregnation with our PP material, with the matrix. And the last step is the winding. How does it look like? This is very good to see. As you can see here, we have these glass fiber rowings, which were on acryl. So we have up to 120 glass fiber rowings on this creel, and each of these rowing has a length of about 8,800 meters. So with these glass fiber rowings, we are producing and building a glass fiber carpet in different steps. You can see here one of the first steps. You can see the glass fiber is almost spreaded, but then at the end, right before the impregnation, we have a carpet of glass fiber. And this is very important to have here in this position, right before the impregnation, a homogeneous fiber, a carpet, that you can have the impregnation, which is in the next step with the PP matrix.
Lars, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Just quickly, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you use special glass fiber and polypropylene materials?
Well, to get the best economical result, we are using really commercial available materials, widely available and not made special. I think this is very important, not to have special materials. And no, we are using the right material which is available on the market. So nothing special at all.
Thank you, Lars.
So the next step is the impregnation. The impregnation of this glass fiber carpet with our PP matrix, and even the PP is a standard material which you can get on the market. So that's no special thing. So this is the impregnation. So to have a good carpet, this is very important that the PP matrix can come through all the glass fibers, and you have a really homogeneous material, and the PP matrix is all over the glass fiber. The next step in the production, the continuous production, is our inline inspection. So we have a visual inline inspection to have a look if the material is good.
And
at the end, yeah, please.
Sorry again, I have a quick question regarding inline inspection. According to which criteria is the inline inspection?
Yeah, well, as I told, it's an optical inspection of the surface, and the system has to be teach of the failures and of the defects of the relevant surfaces. So this has to be teach and has to be learned. We have to show the system which are the failures, and then they will be detected.
Okay. Thank you, Lars. And I would like just to remind the audience that you can ask also your question in the question tab on the right of your screen, and that will be answering all the questions you have at the end of the presentation. Thank you.
So at the end of this process, we're cooling the material and finally winding the tape. And so this roll we have afterwards will have a length of about 2,200 meters. The width is very important and slightly new. We have a width of about 1.25 meters. Well, of course, the actual weight of one roll is about 900 kilos. So these are the main dimensions of our UD tape on a roll after this production. Here are some more material specification, and you can see on the picture our rolls in our storage system in the in the plant. The material specification we have is we use a usual common E-glass with a 2,400 tax, and our production is made so that we have a fiber mass content of about 27%. The density of the oil is about 1.65. Very important and very interesting is, of course, the mass per unit with 330 gram per square meter. This is really a good value, I guess, and even the thickness of about 0.2 millimeters of the tape. And as I mentioned before, the width is 1.25 meters. So we have here the roll of 1.25 meters and a length of a roll of 2,200 meters. These are the main dimensions of our udtape in 0 degrees direction. The next step is because if you want to make a Progano board in Progano sheet, you need also a 90 degrees tape. And this 90 degrees tape we are realizing on our production with an additional production step. So I'm sorry, unfortunately, we can't show you right now these production step in some pictures because there's pattern pending. But the result is that we also in the proud UD 90 degrees, we will have a roll with the same dimension. So with a length of 2,200 meters, a width of 1.25 meters, and of course the weight is the same. But we will have a roll of 90 degrees. And of course the material specifications are the same because we are using the 0 degrees tape and we are making it out of these. Well, I think, Benjamin, please, could you start our video of this production? Because there you can see a little bit more, not just pictures, but also in the movement, how it works. So this is the general way of our production here. You can see the glass fiber rowings on the creel. These 120 fibers are rowings, which were unwinded here. And now it started to get spread so that you get, at the end, you get a glass fiber carpet. Here, as you can see, the inline inspection, so looking to the material, to the surface, and finally with an edge trim, and we have the winding. So this is a short video for this. Well, this is under far to our udtape production. I would like to pass over to Oliver. He will show you and explain you the continuous production of the Progano.
Well, thank you, Lars. Well explained, and I hope the video showed something of how uniform this production is running. The material on the UD machine is not only sold as udtape, because that's also what we do. I mean, we are selling 1.25 meters on a roll as udtape in 0 degree and also in 90 degrees. So this is one of the products we can offer to the market. We're producing film, we're producing udtape 0, we're producing udtape in 90. Some of the udtape in 90 degrees and 0 degrees, and mostly the 0 degrees for the mechanical advantages, we're using in the third step of our continuous production, which is the unwind stand to make a Progano. We have 10 unwind units, each housing 2 rolls, of which one is in the works and the other one is on standby for a direct transfer at the end of the roll in works. So there's continuous process, there's no stopping, there's no changeover, there's no thermal loss in the consolidation machine. This is how it looks in pictures. The housing of those 10 rolls is quite a big unit, being loaded, excuse me, loaded by a ceiling crane with those 900 kilo individual rolls and then being unwound to get directly into the machine. In the consolidation, we guide up to 10 of those layers in 0 degree and 90 degree, and the combination is usually in standard, it's a combination of 4:1, so we have 4 0 degree and 1 90 degree layer, and that then twice. So 10 layers are going into the consolidation, which is a double belt press standard machine, which is supplied by a German producer.
Oliver, I have a quick question for you on this slide. Which layer structure is reasonable and technically feasible?
That is what I mentioned, and what we've learned so far is a 4:1 or 8:2 layer construct is the best performance between the economics of the udtape, the weight and the meter weight of the udtape, and its uniqueness to have the maximum force in the direction of the udtape 0 degree. The 90 degree gives its body, its performance, it held it together and makes it stronger in the uniformity and in the final board construction. So right now, standard and our optimum of choices would be the 4:1 layer construct.
Okay, thank you.
After the consolidation, the heated compressed consolidation of the 10 layers, it's a cooling process in the very same machine. And after the board of the 10 layers is coming out of our consolidation area, it is already a finished Progano board. At the point what you see right now, this is a cross-section saw which cuts it into the length of maximum 2.5 meters. So the motherboard we create is at least 1.25 by 2.5 meters, and it's been handled automatically out of the sawing area, pelletized, and then from the pelletizing station, it goes directly into our sophisticated shelving area. From the shelving area, we receive orders from our customers in certain rectangular sizes for the boards they are using in their processes. So we're taking our motherboards, getting on a trimming and cutting saw, and very precisely in an entire stack. After visual inspection and the nesting program, these boards are being cut out of the motherboard and then being packed individually and shipped then to the customer.
Oliver, again, a quick question on this one. How are the boards and sheets packed?
They're packed usually in boxes, which are turnaround materials, which are going to the customer. We are returning those as packaging and reusing them again. To give an entire overview about our three-stage process, again, is a wrap-up of the processes. Lars introduced you to the tape manufacturing, which is in the glass fibers are being spread out to a carpet. They're introduced to the polypropylene matrix. They're then cooled and calibrated and then being wound up. And the second step is the udtape 90 made out of the 0 degree. The next one is the consolidation again. Consolidation to make the unique board in the layers that are best for the performance of the final product and the final materials. And then being trimmed and cutted to the customer's specific needs. That is the entire process flow out of our main technologies to produce from udtape into a Progano board. Lars, would you take over and tell our audience of where they could meet us next and hopefully in person?
Lars, you are mute.
I'm sorry. I will show you. Perhaps we can have a look before to our video of the Progano boards. Then exactly. So this is it's the same to have a look at it in visual what it's doing. So here we have the unwinding unit, the 10 stations as Oliver told you. So we have up to 10 layers of the udtape, and this will be consolidated and afterwards cutted to the motherboard. You can see here. So these are the motherboards with the lengths which Oliver told you before. Okay, just to finalize it. Okay, so then I can exactly the next step. So where you can meet us. The next big issue is the EZB in Wolfsburg in October this year. So we will be there and on this market to present Progano and our udtapes, and also on the next Czech World in Paris, which will be now in March 22 in the next year. So we can show you our products directly, personally, and this is the next possibility to meet us on these markets. Yeah, just to get the final page we have here. This is a picture of our plant in Greiz. So this is a new plant we built up during the last 2 years. So we have here in this plant, we have an annual capacity of maximum 16,000 tons of production. So that means we will have an output of the tape of 48 million square meters. This is the maximum when all the capacity is built on. Well, so far this was our presentation of the udtape. So proud 0 degrees, proud 90 degrees, and our Progano boards. Thank you so much for this moment, for listening, and we are open to and hope enjoying some more questions for this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Oliver and Lars, for this great presentation. Indeed, it's now time to open the floor to questions, and I see that we already have a few in the question tab, so thank you very much for this. You can continue to send your question to Oliver and Lars by using the question tab on the right, and we will answer them right now. So let's start with the first question. Maybe before we start with the first question, I have one question on my side. Do you have samples available?
Yes, we do. We offer udtape in samples, of course, with the current technical data sheet, but also in the udtape. In the Progano, we have different samples, of course, for our customers to look at, for people that are interested to get introduced to Progano and its performance capabilities.
Thank you, Oliver. So let's start with the first question from Geoffroy Goulet. He is asking, can some of these materials can be used in railway transportation with fire and smoke compliancy?
We have done some initial tests with the smoke and fire regulations. It is usually done not only on the board itself, but also on the finished product. But so far, the first trials that not us, but independent labs have taken are pretty promising to reach the fire and burn rate relations in public transportations and in cars. We, of course, targeted first the automotive industry, and we got positive feedback that this is possible.
Great, thank you. Let's move to the second question from Luke Pollock, who is asking, what is the maximum operating temperature of Progano?
Well, sorry, yeah, please.
No, I didn't understand the question fully. Lars, would you do?
Well, it means the operation temperature of the Progano board. Well, this is a PP matrix, so there you have the specifications of the PP, and this gives you the values. And in general, the operating temperature depends, of course, of your machines you are using. So this is, for us, it's very difficult to describe exactly which temperatures you have to use. But so it's a common material, common PP material, which we use.
Yeah, we did a trial with the injection machine to form the front bumper beam, and at the front bumper beam, the preheating temperature of the board was a pretty uniform, about 180 degrees before introduced into the injection molding. I'm not sure that this is a number that can be used for any kind of process, but that at least was a value we can share.
Okay, thank you. Let's move to the next question from Sanjay Thorat, who is asking, what is the loading of glass fibers in Progano?
Could you repeat that? The sound was very weak.
What is the loading of glass fibers in Progano?
Oh, the loading is by weight at 72%. It's the same, of course, in the udtape. In the udtape, we run up to 72% of mass glass fiber and 28% of PP.
Okay, great. I have also another question on my side. How can you increase your output and in which time frame?
Well, the output, well, how do you describe? So we have a certain modular production. So we can increase it by steps with 2,000 tons. And this step will take about 1 year to introduce it. So this is the main information about it.
Okay, thanks. Let's move to the question of Daniel Sanchez, who is asking, is it possible to build up plus or minus 45 degrees organo sheets further than 090 constructions? I'm not sure to get the question. Normally, Lars and Oliver, you can see it on screen right now.
No, I don't see anything on the screen. I'm sorry.
Neither, Lars?
No, I'm sorry.
But to answer the question, the 45 degrees is something we technically are capable of, but we started with the 90 degree only. So the only angle we can produce out of the 0 degree right now is the 90 degree. Technically possible is 45, but we haven't seen the business case for that yet. So if the approach is good enough, then we could also introduce that technology.
Okay. I hope it answers your question, Daniel. Let's move to the next one. What is the minimum thickness possible?
Well, of course, this depends on the relation between glass and matrix. In our case, so we are using this 27% of the glass fiber, and then we have a thickness of about 0.2 millimeters. Of course, if you use less glass fiber, you will have less thickness. So this is well, depends on each other, you know.
Thank you, Lars, for your answer. Let's move to the question from Roel Verlek. Does the UD line also measures the thickness constantly over the width?
Hello, Roel. We do measure the thickness only over the output ratios. So we know what kind of material is going, or how much material is going in, and we have the visual inspection that everything runs well. And we do measure at the beginning and at the end of each roll to verify our quality is consistent. Since we introduced the same amount of glass and the same amount of polypropylene, the thickness variations in the line are very minimal.
Thank you, Oliver. The next question is from Leonie van der Meulen. She's asking, what is the regular maximum output of your machines per year in terms of tons?
Well, actually, this is per machine is 2,000 tons a year. And then, as we told before, this is a modular production, so we can increase it with each machine by 2,000 tons.
Wow, impressive. Thank you, Lars, for the answer. Next question is from Sanjay Thorat, who is asking, how do you confirm the complete impregnation of the glass fiber with the polypropylene resin in the continuous process?
Well, first of all, we have our visual checks. Well, start at the other side. We do have a gravimetric system for our dosing. We do have the unwinding speed of the glass, and the unwinding tension is very controlled. So what is going in, we definitely do know. What we are doing to verify our quality at the udtape and also in the Progano are, of course, mechanical tests, and we do cross sections and we microscope those to see that all the fibers are totally impregnated with the matrix. We have done those measurements internally, but we also do those measurements externally to verify that we are on the right track.
Thank you, Oliver. Next question is from Daniel Sanchez. He's asking, which is the ratio fiber matrix for this Progano material? And could it be modified as per customer needs?
Well, of course, the Progano, well, we can build up to 10 layers, and the kinds of the layers and the position of each layer is depends on the customer. So it depends on you what you need. So our proposal, what we have right now is is a 10-layer structure with 2 layers of 90 degrees inside. But this depends on the application you have, and then we can change it. So this is no problem, and it's almost totally free, I will say. Of course, if you don't have any 90 degrees layer inside, you will have a certain bending on the plate. But well, this depends, and in general, it depends on the application and on the piece you need.
But Daniel, if you are thinking about the glass fiber weight content, then of course we are right now targeting 72% as the maximum, but a 70% or 65 or 60 would also be possible. Yes, it is all at the end of the day, it's all something that needs to be discussed in detail with the customer for the final application.
Thank you both for your answer. Interesting question from Peter Ilsendengen, who is asking, can you give a few examples for use cases, typical parts made of organo sheets in the automotive industry, for example?
Well, what we've targeted before and what we started is it was an engine carrier which has been built out of udtape with glass fiber and polypropylene. A front bumper beam was a demonstrator. We have a holder for electrical wire trays. We have questions and projects in the area of the battery housing, battery lidding. Protective underbody armor is areas we develop and discover that there would be a good use for a Progano material. But then, of course, everything in the interior, let it be an armrest, let it be a loading flap, let it be parts of the seating. You know, our our material, like others in the composite area, is so versatile that pretty much anything made out of aluminum or steel can be rebuilt and substituted by a Progano board or by udtapes. The question is about the design and the make.
Thank you, Oliver. Next question is from Gerald Dursky. He's asking, what is the advantage of that process to produce organosheet versus impregnation of woven sheets?
Well, this is a good question. In general, of course, if you use your unidirectional sheets and tapes, you have the force which is implemented in the part. When you have it in one direction. I think in the most cases you only need these cases. I think this is one advantage, that you don't have to use material which is able, of course, for different ways and different loads of each direction. But the question is if you need it, and so therefore we have these one direction, and you can use it punctually in your part, in your piece where you need it. I think this is one big advantage of it.
Yeah. Thank you, Lars. Next question is still from Gerald Dursky. He's asking, is this process of consolidation of several layers at risk when shear is applied to the organosheet?
Pretty technical question, which I wouldn't have an answer right now. We've done our mechanical trials, like we mentioned before, internally and also externally, and so far the total question of how does shear stress our material coming from the continuous consolidation, honestly, I wouldn't have a straight answer for that.
Okay, so Gerald, maybe you can contact Oliver and Lars afterwards. You have the contact details on screen. Next question, do you have only sheet based on polypropylene or can you provide also HDPE sheet?
Well, at the moment we only have PP matrix. So this is what our process is installed with. But of course, we are thinking about other materials under other matrices, and this can be realized with the new machines. So in general, we are thinking about it, but right now we can only use PP.
Okay. Next question from Guillaume Gardère, who is asking, which maximal dimension can you produce of your Progano organosheets?
Thank you, Guillaume. The maximum size of the motherboard would be 1.25 meters in width and 2.5 meters in length. That is the biggest size of motherboard we can produce right now.
Okay, thanks, Oliver. Next question again from Gerald Dursky. Thank you for all your questions, Gerald. He's asking, could you think of another resin than polypropylene for the organosheets?
Well, I think Lars already explained it, that technically we would be open, of course, any kind of thermoplastic is within range for the udtape. The consolidation right now in the double belt press, that is a temperature maximum of 250 degrees. So whatever thermoplastic would fall into that melting characteristics would be a candidate. Other we have not on target yet. So, I mean, we are looking at an economically feasible mass production product, and this is what it's all about. We are not looking at materials specifically used for very high-end either space or aircraft materials, and for that also the line would be in the consolidation area technically not feasible.
Thank you, Oliver. That leads to another question from Narendra Kapoor, who is asking, can Progano composite boards be used for aerospace products like twin-seater aircraft, vertical takeoff landing taxis, nanosatellites, mini launchers, or drones?
In general, it is possible. Even there, where you can use PP or you udtape in with the PP matrix. So in general, it depends on the application and on the values you need of the material values you have to use for it. So this we have to check in general. But as Oliver told before, so we are looking for the mass production. This is the main thing, of course. But of course, in the aerospace industry, it is possible to use. So we would like to check it, of course.
Thank you, Lars. Next question from Daniel Sanchez. He's asking how you will approach rounded and deep parts like sinks, molding coming from an organo sheet. How do you deal with the non-fiber stretching? Oliver, you are here.
Could you reply the last part of the sentence, please?
The second part?
Yes.
How do you deal with the non-fiber stretching?
Non-fiber stretching.
Stretching.
I'm not sure if I understand the question. Lars, would you have an answer? I'm not sure.
No, not really, because there's a stretching of the PP. You mean what I think this was the question. In general, of course, if the main idea is to have the tension in the direction of the glass fiber, and this is the most advantage of this material. And if you have the tension in the other direction, well, this is just depends on the adhesion between glass and matrix. This, of course, you have some values, but these are small values, and this is not the main idea of this material.
Thank you, Lars. Frank is asking, how is the quality of ink impregnation?
Good.
That's an answer. Let's move to the second one. Can you split the tapes to specified widths in-house?
Yes, this is one portion we would like to finish. We already have started that we can produce at least partial rolls, not the full 1.25 meters, and then we can slit in line. To get into smaller tapes or ribbons, that would be needed to be done on a different machine. Our machine can do a crucial segmental cut, but if you need something high precision in a certain width of a small band or a narrow band, that needs to be done on a different machine. We do possess such capabilities in our Profile check facility. We have a slitting center there, and that's something that needs to be and can be discussed with the customer what the final needs are, and if there is a direct fit or if there is something else that we would need to fulfill the wishes.
Thank you for your answer. Next question from Frank. What is the maximum production speed in meter per minute?
The maximum production speed on our line mechanically is up to 20 meters per minute.
Perfect. Next question from Sanjay Thorat. Can you please comment on Progano's lightweight versus its mechanical properties? If possible, also can you comment on its comparison with other existing products in the market?
That is not an easy one if you want to compare. We do have some comparisons done on bending force and bending at break, tensile strength, and so on. It is hard to compare other composite materials with Progano. We do have 72% glass fiber in a certain thickness, and in other components or other materials in the market, there's either a different ratio in glass versus matrix material, or the thickness is different. We do know that we have a very strong material. We do know that our bending force in the Progano is very high, but a direct comparison, I don't think that that is really beneficial. It is again up to the design of how to use Progano to get its maximum value out of it. And I do believe that other composite materials in the market are very, very good. They serve a certain need, and this is also what Progano is doing. And either alone or in combination, that is something that really brings the biggest benefit at the end for the final user.
Thank you. Next question. Can your sheets be used in a thermoforming or thermocompression process? And what are the limits in depth of forming a sheet in a mold?
Well, in general, it can be used, of course. So what are the limits? One important thing is the type of the structure. So this depends a little bit, of course, it depends on the application, on the part you're making, and in the position where our tape is positioned in the tooling. And with this, you can decide, for example, you can decide if you need on the outer surface, you need a 0 degrees or a 90 degrees layer. And this, in fact, of course, the depth of the pressure, the pressing. So I don't know. For me, I can't give you an exact value. I don't know, Oliver. Do you have some certain values for this? I don't think so. Huh? No. So this is so there. We have to try it with the layer structure, which is the best layer structure for this application. This has to be tested.
Thank you, Lars and Oliver. We're starting to run out of time, but I have a very last question that I would like to ask you. My question is, how do you recycle your material, and how do you support your customers in this?
Oh, thank you. That's a very important question. I mean, Profil is built with polypropylene based on sustainability, on recyclability. Polypropylene is a wonderful material to be used over and over again. And of course, with our green soul and all our activities in sustainability, we thought about that lengthily, and we have found great partners in the industry that have done a tremendous job in how to recycle Progano, how to recycle scraps coming in our facility or scraps coming back from customers, like cutouts, like even boards, or like products that are not usable. We chained together with machine manufacturers in the recycle area, and they, together with the injection molders, have proven that polypropylene, Progano, glass fiber can be recycled quite easily, quite well, with a very good turnaround into long fiber thermoplastic resins. And those resins can be reused with almost no difference to the virgin material, LFT material. So speaking of that, we can use our scrap and we can produce an LFT granulate out of that again to be reused in injection molding. And that for us was a very big and important step to get that proven and to tell that story also to the industry. And we're currently thinking about also having a separate webinar, in the case of just talking about how to recycle Progano, how to recycle udtape, and how to get a meaningful high-value product out of that. So that, for us, really is a very important question at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Oliver and Lars. Thanks, everyone, for your great question. Don't hesitate to get in touch with Lars and Oliver if you have any further question, or if we didn't get the chance to answer the question you asked. You have the contact details on screen right now. This event has now come to the end, and I hope you enjoyed the time with us and that you have learned something today. I also want to thank our two experts today, Lars Wilkening and Oliver Russler from Profor. The webinar was recorded and the link will be sent to you immediately with the possibility to download the presentation. And we have another webinar next at the end of this month on May 28th. Sorry, there is a mistake on the screen. It's on May 28th at 10 a.m. with CMS, where we will discuss how the production of composite parts become even more competitive. So you can get more information on this webinar on JEC Group website, where you can, as usual, register for free. Thanks again, everyone, for your participation today, and I hope to see you again very soon. Thank you, Lars. Thank you, Oliver, and see you next time.
Thank you very much, Benjamin, for your help and great support. Thank you, everybody out there, and please contact us for any kind of further question, comments, or anything else you would like to discuss with us.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.